Okay, let's talk Watermakers. I bought a Seawater Pro Watermaker system. It's a component system, so I can install different parts of it elsewhere within the boat. Everything doesn't have to be all installed in the same spot. And so I have my Watermaker spread out along the port side of my boat in a couple of different locations in order to have enough room for the installation and not compromise additional storage space. Do you need a Watermaker? To cruise the Bahamas? No, not necessarily. There are places you can get water, and that there are several locations that will provide water for free. Most places, however, do charge anywhere from 50 cents to $1 a gallon. And of course that means dinging somewhere with jerry cans and filling them up, or going into a marina and docking and filling up water there. A Watermaker allows you the access of fresh water no matter where you're at. The first season that I was down here in the Bahamas, I did not have a Watermaker. I now have had the Seawater Pro installed for 2 seasons, and it is working beautifully. I would recommend them. There are several other manufacturers that offer component Watermaker systems where they can be installed elsewhere, but Seawater Pro did a good job. They explained, answered all my questions, and helped me out whenever I had questions. So I was quite happy with them. I want to go over the things that I did differently. There's manuals that come with it. And you know, I share a little bit about that here, show you some of the manuals that do come with it, and you can download those manuals online, and so get some kind of an idea as how you might want to install it. But I'd made a few modifications, and one of those, you know, some of those modifications I think make it a whole lot more convenient to operate. So without any ado, I'm going to go over the modifications that I made and show you what I did. I'm getting ready to put in a modification. This is the rinse water right here. And this is the valve for it, but I'm going to add this solenoid. And this solenoid, when connected, it will go on and off by an electric switch. And this is the electric switch that I'm going to put in. It's a timer. So I will be able to turn this on, and it will automatically then shut the electric switch off. So I can set the rinse for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever. And in order to calculate exactly how long I need to run the rinse, I'm going to put this little gizmo in. It's a water meter. It just will track how many gallons of water that's being used. So I will be able to know how many gallons of water I flushed through the system in order to get a good proper rinse. And this up here is the rinse flush timer that I installed. I turn it now. My process is to turn this to 15 minutes and let it run for 15 minutes, and that will pump about 7 to 8 gallons of water through for the flush. And one of the things I did is I installed this outlet. This outlet here is where the high pressure pump is plugged into. What this does is allows me to unplug the pump, which would be controlled by the main switch here. See where it says main pump right here? It would control, that would control by that main switch. But I could unplug this if I needed to, and then I could just replug it in this outlet up here. Now the pump would no longer be working on a switch, it would be running off of my inverter. But what this allows me to do is to be able to run the high pressure pump off of the batteries and the engine through my power inverter. So if for some reason I could not use my generator, I would still be able to make water. And this is just an overview looking at the installation to give you some kind of an idea how it's installed. I also installed down here this valve right here. And I can turn this valve so that it allows raw water to go through. Okay, and this is water that's coming from the ocean. Or I can choose to attach a hose to this and turn this valve the other direction like this. Okay, and I could hook a hose up to this, and this would then allow me to pickle it and draw water out of a bucket, so that I wouldn't have to be drawing water out of the ocean. And all I have to do is just make that one little switch change. Now, another fairly simple thing that I did was to install an hour meter on the high pressure pump. As you can see, I have approximately 34 hours on the pump right now. This is the second season I've been using it, so that's not surprising that I made that much water. And one last feature that I added is this valve right here. This valve is a T off of the line that goes up to the pressure gauge, or the boost pressure gauge. And the primary function of this valve right here is that I can open it when I have to purge the water system of air. Like if I get air in the lines or something like that, or I change the filters, I need to get all the air out. So this valve, I just simply open this valve until water comes out, and then all the air is out of the system. And one of my favorite things is this valve right here. I can either send the water after it's processed to a test sample. There's a tube in the shower that I can use. I use it also for filling drinking water jugs and stuff. And I could also switch the valve to the other side, and it directs the water directly into the tank to fill the tank. Very, very convenient. And nestled underneath the bunk in the side cabin is where I put the membranes. As you can see, by being components, I can spread this out throughout the boat, and I don't have to waste space as much. But that's where the membranes are located. So the Watermaker is fully installed. It's actually been operational now for 2 years, and I've been using it on a regular basis. So it's time to make some water. So this is the procedure. This is what I do. Okay, I'm making water. I'm running about 40 gallons an hour is about what it's putting out. I've got good boost pressure. I have the adjustment set for to 800 pounds per square inch, and that's where we're set. I took a sample of the water and checked it, and it's working really good. And up here, real good and close, I hope you can see it, but maybe not. The total dissolved solids is right around 200, which is good. So I'm making good water, and I am just going to start putting the water in the tank now. So the water is heading into the tank, and I run for about an hour here and let it fill up the tank. Now that I'm done making water, it's time for me to shut the system down, which includes rinsing it out and shutting, powering everything down. And this is the procedure that I go through when I shut the system down. This is me actually doing it. So I've been making water now for about an hour, made about 40 gallons or so. So it's time to shut things down. So I turn off the main boost pump, or the boost pump, and I turn off the main pump. The pressure's starting to drop back. I now turn my timer on, and I put my timer on. You notice that the water pressure jumped up, and the water pressure jumped up because I'm now pressurized the system with fresh water. I turn the fill tank back to test sample, and I will turn on the boost pump. So now or the main pump, and now I'm actually using fresh water to make water. And I will be backing the pressure off. and I will check over here to make sure that we have water coming out of the sample, and we do. So the water's coming out of the sample, and all that remains is for the timer to run for approximately 15 minutes, and we're done making water. I hope this video was helpful. I only went over the things that I did differently from what the manufacturer, Seawater Pro, said in terms of their installation. I added a few things, modified a few things that I think make it easier and simpler to use. So I'm just throwing this stuff out there as food for thought. I wish you all the best in your cruising. I hope you enjoy whatever it is you're doing, and if you decide to go with the Watermaker, this gives you some ideas on some features that you might make your life a little bit easier. You take care. Thanks for watching.